Without the game Pathways and Amelia, I would not have been looking into the UK like I am. And every time I make one of these videos, many people in the UK are very grateful for the coverage and saying, please continue to draw attention to this situation. And the more I dig and follow this, the more I'm like, it's worse than I could have ever imagined. And in this video, we're going to focus on a couple of things, starting with the Muslim population in the UK specifically, but also Europe. This is Taya saying Europe's Muslim population has grown from under 500,000 in 2000 to 50 million today. In the UK, 10 major cities, including London, now have Muslim mayors. What?
50 million Muslims now live in Europe. At the turn of the century, that number was less than 500,000, and more are arriving every day. As the people who lead these countries try to do what Joe Biden tried to do here, and that is fundamentally change the racial and ethnic makeup of a nation.
For voting to keep these types of people in power. Yep.
And make white Christians a minority in their own country. In England alone, right now, 10 major cities, including London, now have Muslim mayors in a nation that was built around the Church of England. Muslims are now running major cities across the country for the first time in history.
It would be weird enough for one of them to be the mayor of anywhere in the UK. Never mind, what is it, 10?
The English want us to believe that this is all normal.
The Muslim will come out and he will stand for truth and he will stand for justice. May Allah give us the ability to stand for the haqq.
So this is not the Middle East. It's not East Minneapolis even. That is England.
The scary thing is I'm hearing stories about this happening stateside. Many places, specifically in Texas, are turning into this as well. Like, this is a full-on coordinated effort to subdue a government from the inside.
And when you see images like that, you can't help but ask why anyone, a prime minister or a president or a king, would deliberately try to destroy their own country. Why would you do that? Why is this being done?
Because these people will continue to hold you in power and push you forward because you're allowing them to continue to co-opt your entire country.
And because European leaders still celebrate our failed experiment in open borders, it failed here in the United States, and because they've chosen to stand with radical Muslims over their own people, it's because of all of these reasons these countries are falling apart and failing.
That's crazy. How about Clown World? Wake up, England.
The mayor of London is a Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is a Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is a Muslim. The mayor of Luton is a Muslim. The mayor of Blackburn is a Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield is a Muslim.
People will try to shout this down. The ideologues, the lefty lunatics. They're like, you're racist for pointing this out. You don't see what's happening right now? Are you retarded?
The mayor of Brighton is a Muslim. All of this was achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of the 68 million people in United Kingdom.
Yikes.
Today in England, there are over 2,000 mosques. There are over 100 Sharia courts in England, and there are more than 50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslim women do not work and receive state support and free accommodation.
I think I found the problem.
63% of Muslims do not work and receive state support and free housing. The #1 most common baby name in England is Mohammed.
What?
This is not immigration, this is invasion.
Straight up invasion. Basil the Great, this is a Muslim area now. If people say things that are offensive to Muslims, should the police be called? Yes, definitely. Remember those no-go zones they said didn't exist? Well, the Muslims are openly declaring they exist now.
If people say things that are offensive to Muslims, should the police be called?
Yes, definitely. Why not? And then, it's like...
Definitely. Why not? Yeah, throw them in jail.
It's religious things. So police will come and take it.
So people should be arrested for saying anti-Muslim things?
It depends. It depends what they are saying, you understand. If they are saying bad things, police knows how it goes, so they will take it seriously. Maybe
I feel so bad for people in the UK right now. Like, this is crazy that this is being allowed to happen and nobody is stopping it. Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm sure it made worldwide news with ICE in Minnesota. A very necessary approach to protect the country from being invaded. And it still isn't nearly enough of what the country needs to protect from this kind of stuff happening. Especially, like I said, I hear it's happening in Texas. It's getting really bad in certain areas, like lots and lots and lots of people coming together and living off the government, not working, and then voting and pushing and using their own power to control. It's very scary when it starts going that way.
the person is arrested, maybe they will give him a chance for not saying nothing.
So that man says it is a Muslim area.
He said it is a Muslim area, and he's saying that people should get locked up for saying things against Islam, which last time I checked, we live in the United Kingdom and we somewhat have free speech.
Somewhat. I'm like, how is she going to approach this? Because no, you don't. You do. You know you don't too. There's a lot of people in my comment section saying thank you for your videos because we can't do what you're doing here. Think about that for a second.
And you are allowed to say whatever you want about whatever religion. So it just shows you that these people do believe that they live in their own sort of enclave, harem, whatever you want to call it. And that's not good for anyone involved. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I'm the daughter of, someone who is an Indian immigrant. I'm half Indian.
So, so there's a reason I want to do this study. So all the people who make judgments about things, just listen. This lady, you are half Indian,
I am fully half Indian. My dad was an immigrant.
Fully half Indian. I love that.
He came to Australia at a time when they had 5,000 to 10,000 immigrants per year, a very small amount in relation.
How about this one? Tommy Robinson. Fahima Mohammed goes on to GB News to offer her reaction to the definition of Islamophobia, implying that references to grooming gangs is racist. These people have zero shame. Sickening. What?
I think that the Islamophobia definition was not really created by Muslims. It was a British think tank at the time, and to adopt that is only to basically take away from the fact that if there are any anti-Muslim hate, to associate that with the criminal acts. Now, the APPG definition does not take away,
Definition of Islamophobia. Let me move myself so you can read this. Definition of Islamophobia implies references to grooming gangs is racist. What? What?
Us discussing any criminal activity. It just takes away the fact that we do not associate these criminal activities with an entire community and group. That's what it really does.
Can I just read you a piece from this guidance? Because
hey, just because like 90% of us are in the grooming gangs and raping people doesn't mean the other 10% are. All right. They don't speak for us.
It's a very important issue. We're going to have this debate over free speech and free expression. And I'm just going to read it to you. It says, as such, the recourse to the notion of free speech and a supposed right to criticize Islam results in nothing more than another subtle form of anti-Muslim racism, whereby the criticism humiliates, marginalizes, and stigmatizes Muslims. One real-life example of this concerns the issue of grooming gangs. Now, the implication being that if you talk about grooming gangs, you are therefore perceived to be racist against Muslims, and therefore this definition would shut that debate down.
No, because anyone with really having a criminal act, doing anything wrong against the law, should be obviously spoken about. But if you're going to put a microscope on a particular group and only talk about where they come from, when actually there are other social issues that impact the fact that they
don't care. Get out of the country. Bringing grooming gangs in, don't care. Miss me. You should be calling this shit out instead of saying, don't talk about it like that. No. Call it out. Why are you defending it? This is so weird.
Are actually doing what they're doing instead of just highlighting. There is a thing in psychology called, sort of distinction of discourse, discourse analysis. You know that. You're an academic. When we do research, when there's propaganda in media, we highlight certain words, certain things in order to do that.
So can I ask a question on that? Just for example, if we were living under this definition of Islamophobia, which may well be adopted by the Labour government. How would
It probably will be, knowing the direction UK is going.
the debate over the rape gangs have happened? Because presumably people will have said, well, under this definition, you cannot have a national debate linking rape gangs to Pakistani Muslim communities, even though they are
Even though that's where they're coming from.
disproportionately more likely to be within Pakistani Muslim communities.
Well, I think because we're also making it in a micro sort of conversation, it is much more wider than just calling out their ethnicity, community, and background.
But it's not. It's actually not. It is them doing it. It's not wider than that.
I'm not from the Pakistani background,
Sure.
okay? And I am a Muslim.
Yeah.
So I also don't want to be seen in a particular way because even Muslims ourselves believe differently.
Yeah.
So if you're going to just say Islam and Muslims in grooming...
You know how to avoid all this controversy? Get them all out. It's across the board. You don't work. You don't produce anything. You're not here providing to the country. Get the fuck out. How are you here? Why are you here? Get out. Fix all the problems overnight. Violence goes down, crimes go down, rapes go down, everything, all done. It's one quick fix.
Gangs, you are actually going to incite, a whole community. It's better to say, yes, they do come from this background, but there's also issues. I work with the Ministry of Justice. I work in the grassroots, speaking to people in probation, and they come from all parts of, nationality, ethnicity, whatever it is. There are issues why they do have offenses, and that is to do with whether they have mental health, whether their social economic background. I think that's more of a research that we need to put in form.
What even is this argument? Holy crap. Rod Mason, they filmed a child raped by a dog. They use as blackmail with police participation? Fucking hell. Quote tweeting Rupert Lowe. A statement from the Rape Gang Inquiry. Our inquiry panel has heard extensive and deeply distressing testimony from a survivor detailing prolonged and extreme abuse, exploitation, and trafficking beginning in childhood and continuing over a number of years across multiple locations in the United Kingdom. Panel wishes to place a record that we regard this testimony with the utmost seriousness. Survivor has provided details, consistent and specific evidence over an extended period of engagement with our inquiry. She'll remain anonymous and she is safe. She has made it abundantly clear that she wants the country to know her story. This is her decision and her decision alone. Elements of her account have been independently corroborated through presented documentation and vast evidence. The panel is also aware of additional material and supporting information that strengthens the credibility of the survivor's account and warrants urgent and comprehensive investigation by the relevant statutory authorities. Given the gravity of all these allegations, we have thought long and hard about whether to release the following information. We believe, as she does, that the public deserves to know the truth about rape gangs. The survivor's violent gang rape and abuse began at the age of 12. She was raped multiple times per day over many years. Rapes were filmed and they were used as blackmail. The survivors had stated that multiple police officers were active perpetrators. Money was exchanged openly, and this destroyed her ability and willingness to seek help. Police vehicles were used to traffic her, and some of the abuse events were called cop nights. The extreme pain she suffered included filming torture in places called red rooms. The torture included waterboarding, strangulation by rope. Distressingly, she was raped by a dog, filmed, and forced to rewatch the footage as the men placed bets. I'm not even going to keep reading this. I can't. This is insane. This is like the craziest horror movie I've ever seen. It doesn't even come close. Like, this is way beyond that. I am like, by the way, these are the people you're letting into your country. These people. And you want to call people racist? Miss me. Like, sorry. Your words mean nothing. I've seen what you do. Holy, this is insane. Robin says, all my lefty friends from uni unanimously disavowed me in 2019 because I spoke up about the rape gangs in Britain and the violence against white girls and women spreading across Europe due to third world migrants. They told me I was radicalized by the internet and that I was believing white supremacist conspiracy theories. I hope if you guys ever check in on my account here, you will take a moment to read this and reflect on your own beliefs a bit. Replied by Elon Musk, spit in the face of those craven rapist apologists. They are disgusting human beings. Robin says, thank you for boosting the story and the Restore Britain party, Elon. Elon is wholeheartedly behind the Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe party. And I am confident when I say, if Restore Britain does not succeed, I weep for the future of the UK. I genuinely do. Gareth Davies says, how to rid the UK of Islam. Ban halal, ban the burqa, ban cousin marriage. I mean, how is that not already banned? But okay. Ban practicing Muslims from standing for public office. Yep. Ban new mosque builds. Ban translation services. Ban benefits for minimums of 10 years. Ban access to social housing for minimum 10 years. Ban Sharia courts. So they have their own court system? Rupert Lowe says, our rape gang inquiry released a statement this morning detailing the most brutal suffering anyone could imagine on an innocent young woman. If you have not read it, I urge you to go and digest it. People need to understand what has happened and is still happening. I sat for 2 hours listening to that brave woman. It was one of the most harrowing experiences of my life. Before our hearing, I did not think it was possible for one human to inflict such evil onto another human. It is. We have requested a meeting with the Home Secretary so that Mahmoud can hear what we have heard so that she can finally understand. I sincerely hope she accepts. The individual who came forward is amongst the bravest women I have ever met. Just remarkable courage that I hold such respect for. Every single person who has come forward to tell their story is a hero in my eyes. All so that others don't have to suffer what they did. It takes a very special individual to do that. I'm still like shook from that whole situation. Basil the Great says, Rupert Lowe reaches out to young Bob after attacked by Muslim gang. Quote, let's talk. We need to protect our nation. We need to protect our people. We need to restore Britain. Young Bob says, here's the damage in Whitechapel. My hands are bleeding all over because I was holding on to my stuff. My SD card and most of my film and audio equipment got stolen because they grabbed my pockets and the police did absolutely nothing. The equipment especially annoyed me because I was using it to go to universities and film and also film the shows that I do on a daily basis. And I have absolutely no way of replacing it. Rupert Lowe says, I hope you're okay. Let's talk. Young Bob says, the only MP I know who actually immediately responds to this crap? Absolutely. Let's talk. What a situation. Holy. Amelia, good night. It's 4 a.m. here in the UK. Night. God bless.
There's nothing wrong with loving your country unapologetically. In fact, it's rather the bare minimum of decency.
Amen to that, Amelia. Holy shit. The British Patriot. I saw this shop this morning, so I decided to have a look inside. Within seconds, 2 men in dresses came up to me and asked me what I wanted. I said, do you have a copy of the book on Great Britain's policy regarding deportation of illegal immigrants? He said, fuck off and get out. Don't ever come back. I said, yeah, that's the one, mate. How much is it? Sorry, I had to. Adam Brooks, I'm speechless. A Green Party election video in a foreign language in Britain. Wow.
दुकानदार, सफाई करने वाले, ड्राइवर्स, माएं, ये हम हैं जो इस इलाके को चलाते हैं.
Guys, you are being invaded right now. I don't know how else to say it. Radio Geneva, this is what I was talking about with Texas. Muslims want to ban beer and pork in Texas because Allah has decided so. Like I said, it's coming to America.
We're here for, and little by little, one by one, we're going to be visiting all of the stores in the neighborhood, particularly the inner city neighborhood.
So they come in. This is what they do. They come in. They say, hey, we're just escaping, a tough country where we were at, and it's a bad situation, and we will do what we can to help support this community, whatever. And then more come, and then more come, and then more come, and then more come, and then more come. And then they start picking up microphones and start saying, you know what? We're going to actually do things a little bit different here now. Curious how that works. Tyler Robinson, America, don't make Britain's mistake. My warning from across the Atlantic. I'm standing in the United States with members of Congress, having conversations that 650 MPs in Britain refuse to have. In my country, no one in Parliament will openly address the issues we're facing, even after terrorist attacks, even after the erosion of free speech, even after I was imprisoned.
Listen, you're American. You don't have to go down the same path as us. You don't have to fail where we failed. You don't have to. You can prevent what's happened in Britain, what's happened in Germany, what's happened in France. You can stop it now.
I love this guy, by the way. He's really good.
Attacks. We've had children blown up, soldiers beheaded. And not once in the 650 members of parliament, not once since Churchill or Gladstone, no member of parliament spoke openly or criticised Islam within parliament. Well, that's different in the United States. They're already waking up. Muslim population of America is 1%. 42 members of Congress, Republican Congress, have now joined their names and come together for a anti-Sharia caucus. They want to educate and they want to work out how they deal with tackling Sharia law already in the United States. We're about to have a meeting now with Congressman Keith Self. I don't want to say too much more about what I hope the plans are. We're going to have a meeting and see if it's a success. So let's go. Hated in British Parliament. 650 MPs, none of them speak up, none of them even when I've been wrongfully prisoned, the attack on free speech, all of these things, no one spoke up. But I go to Poland, I'm accepted by members of government. I go on a state visit to Israel. I get a standing ovation in Denmark's parliament. And now I'm in the United States of America. And I'm meeting members of Congress about the possibility of working together to help educate America. And if you're watching this and you're American, you don't have to go down the same path as us. You don't have to fail where we failed. You don't have to. You can prevent what's happened in Britain, what's happened in Germany, what's happened in France. You can stop it now. Okay, you can get ahead of the curve. And
I mean, I'm worried it's already too late in America. Never mind the UK. At this point, imagine if Trump was not the president. What would have happened to the United States?
Thankfully, you've got brave men and brave politicians who are already open to stopping it and working together and seeing how they can stop it. If you want to follow what happens from here, because lots is going to happen from here. Okay, if you want to follow what's going to happen from here, then you stick to TommyInUSA.com. Follow my journey, okay? Daily videos.
This guy's really good. Definitely recommend following him. I follow him. He's awesome. Packer Girl, V for Vendetta is becoming a reality. WTF is a reasonable person. Illegal to watch a video of two consenting adults who are pretending to be cousins shagging each other. Still 100% legal to go out and fuck your actual cousin in real life. Pirate Nation. UK government announces ban on incest simulation in porn offenders could face several years in prison. An amendment tabled in Parliament makes it illegal to possess or publish such material. Offenders face up to 2 years in prison for possession and up to 5 years for distribution for pretending to have porn and incest. But totally fine to do it in real life. And he was actually called to task in Parliament and declined to say no about it. That's Keir Starmer for you. And we'll leave it at this. Concerned citizen, UK Education Secretary says she is okay with 5-year-old boys going into school wearing a dress because they identify as trans. Britain, he is no longer a serious country. And these people want every single child to turn trans. Yikes.
Can a 5-year-old go to school and decide that he wants to be called by a girl's name and that he is a she? Are you comfortable with that?
We've been clear that
a 5-year-old, bro.
In primary schools, we need to tread with a lot of care.
That didn't actually answer the question, Secretary.
Well,
are you comfortable with that?
Well, this was usually where it involves a parent's decision to support their child in that way. So part of
imprison the parent, a 5-year-old kid straight to jail with the parent. Are we serious right now?
Part of the balance here is that, of course, often parents will be supporting.
But the child could just tip up at school, couldn't he or she?
Well, we think this. We think this.
Did you know? Does everyone know at 5 whether they want to be a man or a woman?
That's part of what actually Hillary Cavill.
Notice how she's trying her best not to answer, just with a no. I would not be okay with that. Notice she's tap dancing around it.
Said in her review that in allowing children just to consider who they are, to behave in,
No, don't do that. My son wanted to be a dinosaur when he was 5. I was like, bro, no, you're a dude. You're not a dinosaur. Not moving on. He's like, okay, but I can pretend to be a dinosaur. It's like, yeah, I don't care. Be a dinosaur all you want, bro. But you're not a dinosaur forever.
That might not be aligned with their sex, or their gender. Mm-hmm. So if a boy wants to wear dresses, we should just, if we allow that to work, children will experiment at different points. They will consider who they are. That just taking a watchful approach, not.
Yeah, I will trust the schools to take a watchful approach to dudes wearing dresses in school. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong with that. Trust the school system, guys.
Not coming down too hard on that actually reduces what we see in terms of children moving towards a more medicalized model.
X to doubt Like, show me proof of that. Hey, if we don't come down hard on them, they turn out to be more normal. I bet they do. Right. Next question. That is the absolute state of the UK right now. And pulling the lens back, larger concerns for planet Earth in general, especially the first world countries. If the first world countries do not grab the bull by the horns and pull the reins in and redirect the conversation back to normalcy, I weep for the future of this planet. I genuinely do. We may have peaked as a race, as just humans. This is it. It's downhill from here, unfortunately, unless actual leadership ends up in charge. I feel for the guys over in the UK. I really do. The stuff that I've researched, read, heard, seen, it's just mind-melting. It's so sad. At what point, if it hasn't stopped now, will it? It makes you wonder. I'll leave that there.